and welcome to the Four Horsemen podcast. I'm your host, Zane Throwersmith. To my right, we got the man, the myth, the legend, Chris, the chic in disguise, Terrorian.
100%. What it is.
And to my left, and he just left the screen and he's now adjusting, the man with a million nicknames, but we know him as Dillcat. Dylan Thomas, everybody.
We know him, we love him,
and hate him at the same time.
Well, we wanted to do this podcast because we're all diehard wrestling fans, and, you know, we've got so much on our mind, what we think would go right, what would help, what could have happened if things changed, and we're here to talk about that on this podcast. Just
along
a bunch
with
of friends.
probably millions of people out there that get just as frustrated as us.
That stand up and yell at the TV whenever
Roman Reigns comes out at number 30.
Rumble 17. God damn it.
So that's honestly the start of this. Frustration build up into love of wrestling.
Yeah.
Here we are.
So much, we just love it and we keep coming back. Well, start things off. We're in beginnings of our wrestling fandom that's turned into an addiction. Chris, let's start with you. What got you into wrestling?
My grandpa. My grandpa was a big wrestling fan.
Yeah?
And then I would always try moves on him. He's got a big old stomach. Just trying to beat the ever-living hell out of him. I was a little kid. 4 years old, 5 years old. Then I got hooked. WCW. That's all she wrote. That's where it is, man.
What was the moment that first made you a fan? Watching WCW?
Goldberg.
The streak?
I remember Goldberg and Sting. Those are my two biggest that I remember. I had a Sting mask. I had one of those red Sting masks I'd wear to school and stuff. That was the best.
Dill?
I got in from my grandparents watching too. The best was, I didn't really know much about wrestling to start, but my grandparents, this is back when kayfabe was they thought it was real. You couldn't convince them otherwise. Exactly. So, I remember watching one time, my grandma's getting so into it, and Kevin Nash comes out, and she flips over backwards in her chair, and she's in her 80s, this 80-year-old woman sitting there watching wrestling, Kevin Nash's music hit, and she just goes straight back, chair flops over.
Was that the... Bum, bum, bum,
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
That music hit, she goes flipping back, and I just remember she's laughing, my mom's freaking out, are you okay? It's funny though, but to actually get into wrestling, I didn't know much of the difference between the promotions starting WCW and WWE, so a lot of what I watched was WWE right during the Attitude Era. I remember watching it with my grandpa. There was a mud wrestling match. And I'm sitting there hiding behind the chair, peeking over, I know I'm not supposed to be watching this, but I am. And he's just sitting there, just enjoying it. And then I think the moment I really became a true diehard fan was watching a lot of the tag team matches in WWE.
Used to be a great tag.
Back when it was Edge, Christian, Hardy Boys, Dudley Brothers,
Acolytes, everybody was involved in that.
Exactly, that's when it was. The tag team division was alive and well.
That's crazy.
And then when I met you guys, we were what? I remember riding in the car to 7-Eleven back from the Boy Scouts talking about Stone Cold Steve Austin stumping mud holes in people.
Walking them dry.
What about you, Zane? What got you into it?
I remember my dad first turned it on, and my brother and I, the Four Horsemen. He's not here. He'll be here
our missing
next
four.
week. You'll see him.
He turned on WCW, and you were backpack off of you, Sting. He was everybody's favorite. The franchise. And I don't know, I fell in love with, the themes. When somebody comes out and, a run-in, somebody's getting beat up and someone comes out to save him.
100%.
The music hits, the big pop and everything like that.
I live for big pops. I always keep going back and forth on YouTube just for big pops. Shinsuke Nakamura pop, CM Punk pop, and Money in the Bank. Triple H's return in the early 2000s.
2002, man.
Oh,
Madison
my
Square
goodness. Those pops, I live for it.
Even Mick Foley winning the championship for the first time, that pop.
Yep.
When Stone Cold's music hits and he comes running out.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you remember the most is those big
Those big pops. Those
No, for
were
real.
the like moments as a fan you remember.
Always.
Well, it's not like you remember, who fought who in the 1999 house show, like, the Raw. Oh, yeah. But, like, moments that stick with you, like the main events, were the moments. So, I mean, what made me stay as a fan is things like that, and, like, getting to know the character. My favorite guy in WCW, you guys are going to think this is weird as hell, but it was Lex Luger.
I was right about to say Lex Luger.
Yeah?
Lex. I mean,
Well, because my brother loved Sting.
Yeah.
And like they were tag partners, whether they had the rivalry going on and they were fighting each other for the World Heavyweight Championship, or they were tag team. And I didn't really get into WWE until like during the Monday Night Wars, and I was like, well, what makes this show better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And getting into that, and playing video games, playing WCW Revenge.
That was the one on 64 is the best.
That's the best one there is.
Well,
that's
like,
still the best wrestling game there
WWF
is.
No Mercy.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was
No
the first
Mercy
one.
was amazing.
Those ones were great. I mean, what about when you were younger? What about your first live event? Because you've probably been to. Did you go to Nitro or did you go to Raw?
No, my first live event was a house show for WWE. This was like 2002, I believe. I went with my dad, and we got right next to the walkway. So like people were walking out, and I just remember sticking out, trying to get my hand slapped by Trish Stratus, and she did. And still haven't washed my hand. So every night, but the one thing I remember from that show is Chris Jericho talking heated on Mormons and polygamy. He's like, you and your 4 wives here, and he got so much heat for it, but it was awesome. And that's like the one thing I remember. And it was a house show, but it was still
one of the most underrated wrestlers of all time, Chris Jericho.
The GOAT, man.
Even WCW with his heat with Goldberg. I heard Goldberg was a dick.
Arm drag, arm bar. The list of Jericho, the original list. No, because that's when he was feuding with Dean Malenko, but he had that huge feud with Goldberg that wasn't really
over.
No, exactly.
Didn't want to work with him or anything. He's like, Chris Jericho was like, dude, I'm gonna make you look great.
Exactly. Well, and even like he had his own security. Remember Ralphus, the stage guy that wore the shirt that says Jericho Personal Security. That shit made me laugh so hard.
Oh, it's the best.
I mean, what about you? What was your first live event?
First live event was a WCW one, and I remember there was I think there was a cage match. Goldberg was involved.
Was it the Thunder? Was it a Thursday Night Thunder?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
And then my second one was a Monday Night Raw where they did the Raw Roulette.
I was there as well.
That was
I remember because we all knew each other at that point, and we were all like talking about it. I'm like, I didn't get to go.
No, because I remember Raw Roulette, and I remember Val Venus making that Norman jokes. He was with, God, I want to say it was Stevie Richards.
Yeah, they used to tag together.
Right, but like he brought the girls back.
Yeah.
And I was like, he's like, well, one thing I got to tell you is they're Mormon. And like the crowd gave him heat for it, and they were booing him and stuff like that. But I remember Raw Roulette when Eric Bischoff was doing that. And it was a Salt Lake City street fight.
It was Booker T and
who was it?
Man, he came out with a manager. I want to say Umaga, but I don't think Umaga was there.
I don't think he wasn't.
He wasn't there.
It was
right?
Booker T and someone else, and Booker T went up to the stage, and he was waiting for him to come out, and he had like a trash can lid or something, and right as his music hit and he came out, and just clocked him in the head.
I forget who
look that up.
I don't forget who it was. But my first live event was a Nitro. I went with my dad and my brother, and I was so like enthralled with Goldberg. I think this was like 1998. So it was after Starrcade when Sting beat Hulk, and he dropped the title, and Goldberg was going on the streak. And WCW in the old days, they had a ton of pyro.
Oh yeah,
like every 5 seconds, and like that's one of the main iconic things you remember about old Goldberg is
his pyro,
sparks come out, the pyro, and every 5 seconds WCW would do a pyro, and I'm like grabbing my brother, I'm like, is it Goldberg? And he's like, no, it's just the Nitro girls. Little did I know that was what I was supposed to be interested in. But yeah, I just remember always going into where there was a Nitro. I saw the Thunder with the cage match, the Raw Roulette. And the most recent one I went to Impact Wrestling when it was here. And I sat hard cam side, second row.
I remember you telling me to watch that, and I turned it on, and I just see Zane and Zach there, like the only ones cheering.
And it was really cool because it was one of AJ Styles' last Impact Wrestling appearances on TV.
Ooh.
So that was like, he was like the Renegade, and like I really wanted to see Jeff Hardy wrestle, but he didn't wrestle on the card that night. And I mean, when we transition into the business, what on the business side like attracts you? Not like the show, but like what was the main attraction that brought you in?
Oh, the main attraction that brought me in. That's hard to say because I mean a
Was
lot
it
of
like,
it.
yeah,
I don't know. Kind of learning about this backstage politics was really interesting to me. Starting out, like, you know, there's certain guys that have a stranglehold on what's going on with those companies, and like that's what we saw a lot with WCW, with like the NWO and Wolfpack, and like learning about a lot of that kind of, you know.
Mark Henry, that's who it was. Sorry.
with Booker T.
You're good.
Booker
Marty
Salt Lake
Marty.
City Street Spot.
That's what it was.
Yeah, but definitely the backstage politics were very interesting to me. Like, especially young, like learning like, you know, what's going on is in entertainment, it's performance, and it's captivating, and I enjoy it. But like learning what's really happening, that's like the part you're not supposed to see. It's like a kid who does something he knows he's not supposed to do, but he does it anyway. It's like, that was, I don't know, that excited me.
What about learning the first time that it was scripted? Or learning that the outcomes were predetermined?
Big hit for sure as a little kid, because it's like everybody's like wrestling's fake.
Yeah, everyone will always tell you wrestling's fake, wrestling's fake. No, it's not. Look at it.
Wrestling's not fake!
To an extent.
I was actually just gonna pull it up.
Even to now, to an extent, yeah, it's fake. They may not be actually connecting each other with punches, but I dare you to go in there and take a bump from them. You go take a power bomb. You go take a superplex.
It's scripted. It's not fake.
It's scripted. It's not fake.
It's a performance.
Exactly.
There you go.
It's an entertainment performance, but they're still putting their bodies on the line.
Sports entertainment.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's what people look over. They're like, "How can you watch this?" And I'm like, "Man, you gotta sit down and actually look. You gotta think of it how people don't like baseball.
Right.
They don't understand baseball. It's you have to look and analyze. Be like, when they come in, look at the reaction of the crowd. Look how they're manipulating the crowd. Look at all this, all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not they're just going out to compete for who's best. They're putting on a show. You know, they're working with each other.
No, exactly. That's what I think a lot of people don't understand.
And I think that's harder than a lot of these other, like, I don't know, sports. I wouldn't say others. I don't want to compare it to like baseball, basketball, football, stuff like that. But you know, these are two people working together to put each other over.
I would compare it to any. I would put wrestling up against any athlete in the entire world.
Well, towards athleticism, yes, definitely.
Entertainment-wise, for sure.
Entertainment, athleticism. I think they work harder. I think they work harder than...
They have a lot harder. I mean, they're going year-round.
300 days a year being on the road. Like football players, 16 games. You know,
pre-game and maybe postseason also. But it varies. It's non-stop 300 days a year. This is your paycheck. You got to pay your own way, your hotel room, you rent your own cars, you got to do this.
It's on you to get to the show.
You don't get to sleep in your own house. You have to keep your relationship with your wife and all this. It's not only physical, it's emotional strain.
And absolutely. I mean, being away from home like that all the time.
And people don't understand that. And it's something that really grinds my gears.
Well, it's just like a... I'm trying to figure out the word. Is there... Because wrestling's not as big as it used to be, and there's those fair weather fans. Like, of course, there's people that watch WrestleMania, but there's not people that watch Monday Night Raw every week. There's not people that watch SmackDown every week.
NXT even.
Exactly. Or NXT is just grace for people who have the network.
Even going into like
it's not a plug, I swear.
Even going into like independent wrestling, like New Japan, you know, Ring of Honor.
Indie is incredible.
Indie wrestling is. I mean, I feel like mostly diehard fans are the ones that learn about indie wrestling, and that's where you really start to like get a lot of your wrestling information from. Because like you'll see these guys that are you've heard about them wrestling in Japan, and then they show up on NXT. Like, I mean, when like Shinsuke Nakamura came over, like
people already knew who he was.
Exactly.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Because he was huge. He was the guy in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Even AJ Styles.
AJ Styles has been around forever. He's been, Ring of Honor, TNA, PGW, New Japan Pro Wrestling.
WCW, he was in the dark matches for WWE. He's world traveled. He
knows what he's doing.
He's been there for so long, and then like you said, the fair weather fans are people who don't pay as much notice to wrestling.
It's spectator fans.
Yeah,
they take it for face value.
Exactly.
Like they don't know. Like this guy's been around. This guy's a huge deal. Like
Kevin Owens.
Exactly.
Even though he hasn't been in any of the major promotions, he's been wrestling just as long, even longer than Cena, right?
Yeah.
When he had his first match, one of the best matches I've ever seen. Cena and Kevin Owens, the first one.
Well, when he answered Cena's Open U.S. Challenge, the U.S. Championship Challenge.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That was a non-stop go. There was no time not even time wasted or like building up the fans because it was already built up, and they kept that for however long that match was. 20 minutes about?
Yeah,
it was non-stop.
Well, that was his debut. That was his main roster debut.
Amazing,
and he hit it hard, and it was awesome. And even Ring of Honor when he's Kevin Steen, he put on
his real name.
Well, yeah, but those matches he put on there were amazing.
Oh, 100%.
All right, we're going to do a little rewind here, and we're going to talk about one of the most interesting / controversial times in all of the wrestling history. We're going to talk about the Monday Night Wars.
Monday Night Wars, yeah.
So what we're going to start with is with pre-Monday Night Wars. So this is just like when 1997... No, maybe a little bit
earlier, 95, 96.
Right, but WCW wasn't really established then. I think Hulk Hogan, he came over in 95, I think, to WCW.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Like when they did the big old, in Orlando, they did the Disney World, he was on the float and everything.
Yeah.
But that wasn't really what set it over, is I think... with the Outsiders and everything. Well, everyone knows how it started, Outsiders, but what do you think? You think it was Eric Bischoff offering more money for those guys to leave, to try to beat him like that, or...
More money and more creative control.
As well,
more time off, more creative control.
That's true, because if you talk to people from WCW days outside of the Outsiders, Kevin Nash and all that, Scott Hall, they would refer to them as bullies. They would be referring to Hogan and all them as bullies.
Well, it goes back to the backstage politics.
Yeah, the backstage politics, and having all that creative control is just such a big thing because they were on top they were the guys.
Yeah.
Since they got there, they were top guys until the very end.
Yeah.
The guy was.
Yeah.
I can't even take that serious.
The guy with the NWO t-shirt is a fat version of Brian Kendrick.
I can't even argue that. Great observation out there.
Well done. Bless you. We may have to change your name, bud.
Just get a shirt that says Fat Brian Kendrick.
That's the start of something.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, man. Kind of got us off track. We got a little viewer interaction and things like that, and we just go south real quick. Monday Night Wars.
Oh, Monday Night Wars. Was there a great time?
Okay.
But, yeah, creative control, getting to do all that. But then, as it progressed, they were doing live tapings. That was the biggest edge
for WWF, yeah,
or WCW
because WWF was recording them, and WCW would read the outcomes.
Right,
you don't give away them. This
they would watch it.
That was That wasn't pre Monday Night Wars. That was right in the heart.
Well, yeah, that was what setting it over, and that was what Eric Bischoff was doing tactically to try to beat Vince.
Yeah, I agree on that, but
just getting a stacked roster. I mean, if Eric Bischoff just took advantage of people that maybe weren't getting the recognition that they wanted.
Or maybe people that aren't, say, Hulk Hogan and Macho Man, they were huge.
Well, they were all 80s. Guys on the way out at WWE.
Yeah.
But they still had that superstar wow factor to them that, it's like Hulk Hogan's there. Oh.
And when
Randy Savage is there.
Yeah. And when it comes down to it, with With Hulk Hogan, all in all reality, from the beginning of his career to the end, not that good of a wrestler. He's a terrible wrestler.
But he
But
was
showman.
He was a showman.
A showman. He was the reason why he was the face, and it was sports entertainment. He was the entertainment factor. No matter what, he drops that leg, and you believe that guy on the ground was just getting crushed. I mean, it's a leg drop.
Because he's charismatic. He sells it so much. When he's pumping and he's hulking up. I mean,
it gets the crowd going.
Crowd manipulation.
Yeah.
Anyone that can do that, it's amazing. It's fantastic.
Oh, it definitely is. But like one of the things like WCW was doing, that they were bringing in all these big name talents, but they were losing people that they weren't putting the time and money into. Like Stone Cold, he was in WCW. Stunning Steve Austin. Was that what he went by in WCW?
yeah, no, he was stunning.
With the gold locks?
Yeah, like him and Brian Pillman, they were never treated right there, so they went to ECW after that, cut those amazing shoot promos, which is like where Stone Cold's persona came in, then went to WWE and just changed the whole thing for the Monday Night Wars.
Cruiserweight division.
That was one
huge.
thing that WCW had that WWE didn't.
Yes.
And they didn't develop until 2000s when Rey Mysterio was there, Chavo Guerrero.
Chris Jericho, Eddie Guerrero.
They didn't think people
Dean
wanted to see these
Malenko.
smaller guys doing amazing things when it was
Juventud.
quite
Juventud.
La Parca.
Oh, yeah!
They had always the cherry with a skeleton mask. I mean,
He's still going to this day.
God, how old is he? Like 50?
Oh, he don't look too good.
He wears a mask.
No, I mean, you see he's a little pudgier now, but he's still doing moonsaults, and he's still doing his leg with the chair.
Yeah.
He's got it, man.
Okay, we'll go getting into the Monday Night Wars. We've got a few twists and turns that we want to, express our opinion on. What would have happened if WCW won?
Whew.
if they were going in the same direction they were at the end.
Right. But, okay, so, Vince goes under. They lose the war. Vince Russo's in control. Eric Bischoff's still there. What they were doing, they brought in the Ready to Rumble Triple Cage match with DDP, with Jeff Jarrett. David Arquette was WCW champion for a couple days.
Which everyone has different opinions on.
I think it wouldn't be around today.
I don't think it would either.
100%. At that time it was big.
Yeah.
But you'd have to give them something new. And the thing with Vince is he's progressive.
He adapted.
Even though he likes big, sweaty men. King Ross. But he was able to change. He was able to adapt. He could, leave his ego at the door with feuds and bring people back that he had to and do that. He would try to do what is best for business.
Yeah. Well, they went from like the gimmicky early '90s where it was all about having a gimmick and that.
Well, yeah,
Attitude
Undertaker,
Era.
Doink the Clown, Gold Dust.
Yeah,
like all those guys that had. They didn't have really guys that had just a name.
They had characters.
Exactly.
Right.
Like you see a lot of guys now that are names like T.J. Perkins. You've got Chris Jericho. I mean, he has a gimmick all in itself now, but like there weren't just names back then. There was like The Undertaker and like things like that, and like The Rock.
But that's one thing WCW was doing. Like it was more real. Once the Outsiders came over, they're going by, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. They're going by those names. Like it makes it real. Like it's not just these characters that are having these battles. It's like real life drama and action going on.
And I agree.
And that's like when the Attitude Era, like Vince sees that, he's like, okay, this is what people want. I'm going to leave my ego to the side, and this is what we're going to adapt to.
Yeah, Vince was great in that. Mm-hmm. But if WCW were to win, eventually egos would clash.
Oh yeah.
Not Chris Jericho, Eric Bischoff. He's the reason, WCW went under. He single-handedly destroyed it.
I think that and giving too much control to your...
Hulk Hogan had 100% creative control of everything that he was involved with. Storyline-wise.
NWO.
Well, exactly.
NWO was great when it started, but towards the end, it's like, okay, who isn't a member of NWO now?
Well,
like,
and
then you got NWO Red and NWOY and like...
LWO.
Yeah, exactly.
Latino World Order.
And then you look at ECW and you got Blue World Order.
Well, I think that was just to make fun of them. And
Oh,
like
it
they
was.
had, you know,
It absolutely
That actually
was.
worked, though.
Oh, it
Like,
did.
that
Blue
went-
World Order.
They got
went
a great
over.
reaction.
That went
Yeah.
over.
all right.
I mean, you got the Heartbreak Kid. Oh, what is it? Stevie Richards.
Stevie Richards was in the
Yeah.
Blue WO.
I
The
love
Blue
Stevie
Meanie.
Richards, man.
Blue Meanie was in it. God, I forget who else was in it. But, I mean, if WCW were to win, I think I agree with you guys that there would not be a sports entertainment around today.
And I don't think it would be to this level. I think it would be TNA level, if anything.
That would
It
be
would
the
be-
big load. It would be the Indies. It would be Ring
Imagine
of Honor. It would
TNA
be,
being the main sports entertainment right now.
The dominant promotion.
It's so small compared to what WWE is now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the level it would be at.
Well, taking it global and everything, you know, making the company public and just expanding on a business aspect, whether it's, you know, when they started doing 12 pay-per-views in a year, you know, one every month, I think that set them apart and it got a more global audience besides the fan base that was tuned in every Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, when they start building these storylines, I think there's things that WCW could have done to maybe kept it afloat for a while, but I don't think it would ever reach the level that WWE is today, which has spawned off all these promotions. You know, you've got TNA, which was spawned off of WCW being closed, as well as even Jeff Jarrett opening GFW, Global Force Wrestling.
Yeah.
down in Vegas, yeah.
Exactly. You know, all these promotions being spawned off of a failed business to think that they can do it better. Like New Japan, they've been around. Everybody's been there.
Mm-hmm.
And they're starting to get a lot more appeal in the Americas. New Japan is. I mean,
Yeah, and that's because of WWE.
yeah.
They're bringing people over like Shinsuke and even AJ Styles that went and had a stint over there. Brock Lesnar was even over
Yeah,
there.
he was IGW.
Bringing
Finn Balor.
Yeah.
Like Bullet Club is a huge
There you
faction
go.
in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
bringing all those people over is bringing more recognition to New Japan because
and where they came from.
They're like, whoa, holy crap! These guys came from there. There must be more.
Yeah.
And there sure as hell is.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, all the people that we grew up wrestled in Japan at one time.
Mhm.
Jericho,
Pretty much, yeah.
Guerrero, Mysterio,
Hulk Hogan was there.
Hulk Hogan, everyone was there. It's a staple. It is a footstep into mastering your craft.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And it's a lot of different styles there, too.
Art style,
Hard style.
Hard style.
Exactly.
really
All right.
great essentials.
And so this is one of the things to build off of the WCW question. If they had won, what would have happened? What would Hulk Hogan's role in WCW would have been? If there
Total
was-
creative control.
Okay, we understand.
And if they were still around today,
but
he would
I
be
didn't
in
finish the
control.
question. If there was no NWO,
If there was no NWO,
he was still a face. He never turned heel.
he would have gotten stale. Like,
I
think
don't-
about it.
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think Hulk
I
Hogan
think
would ever
NWO
lose it. Think about it. Even if he comes back now, even when he was a heel and he was coming towards the end of his career, even his last stints in WWE, still got pops. It's the nostalgic point of view.
Mhm.
It's all the people, all the parents that have grown up with Hulk Hogan as their number one guy, their big face, and they pass it on to their kids. They've definitely shown their kids Hulk Hogan.
No,
And it
you ask
carries
anybody
on.
in the world
Everyone
to name
knows-
one wrestler,
Hogan.
Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
And I mean, even to this day,
Mhm.
you know, they'll say John Cena.
Yeah. Love him or hate him. Love him or hate him with John Cena. Amazing.
Charismatic.
Yes,
Charismatic.
he definitely gets the reaction.
He carries every match. Even if he's in a match with Ryback, he makes it look good. He makes that match look good.
And when you put him with someone good like AJ Styles, like what we
Seth
saw,
Rollins, oh,
Yeah. like the Royal Rumble match with him and AJ Styles, that was one of the best matches of the year
so far.
so far.
January. I mean,
Yeah.
But I mean, like, that is, you know, one of the top matches I've seen in a long time.
Yeah. It always seems to be like that. The beginning of the year always have the good matches.
towards the end, I mean, well, they've got all the big
Depends.
pay-per-views at the start of the year. They've got Royal Rumble. They've got Mania. I mean, the ones at the end of the year. Survivor Series is good, but you got SummerSlam in the middle of the year. I don't think
Survivor
there's.
Series almost is getting a little stale. over the past couple of years, just in my
It wasn't too bad.
It wasn't. No, don't get me wrong.
This past year wasn't too bad though.
It wasn't bad, but I mean, like years before, it's like the elimination match or the tag matches are just getting more.
Yeah, but that's the
drawn out
traditional Survivor Series elimination.
Yeah,
tag matches.
I wouldn't ever say get rid of it. I'm just saying the way they. I don't know. It doesn't seem to have much build up to it like it has in the past.
Yeah, definitely. But
You think they? One thing I've noticed with WWE now is they overdraw out feuds. Like they stretch them as far as they can, and sometimes that's when you talk about things getting stale. I think that's one of the things that WWE does now that they could do better at. Instead of having a 6-month rivalry, you give them 2 pay-per-views, 2 months, maybe 3. I think you can draw things out, and then you see new matches, new rivalries created.
Give people new opportunities.
Exactly. Yeah. Not like, I mean, they're always going to push Roman Reigns.
No matter how much we don't want them to.
Right, but it's well, if you want to see someone new. Like, say you want to see, like when they did, oh my gosh, AJ Styles and Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
Like when Dolph got a title shot, and that was a short-lived rivalry, but they're 2 great performers that put on a hell of a show.
Damn right. Yeah.
And then they didn't drag it out. They went on for 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then that was it.
And sometimes that's all you need.
That's good.
And they moved on.
I mean, I love Cena, I love Orton, but I swear if I see another Cena-Orton match, I'm going to hang myself. I've seen... How many? I saw it the other day. How many matches they have with each other? Like over 300 or something crazy like that. Mm-hmm. I love them. They're great performers. But come on, let's mix it up just a wee bit.
We don't want to see the same thing every year.
They're both future Hall of Famers, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to see that rivalry again.
Yeah.
I really
drawn
don't.
out and overdone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it was good. Leave it that way.
Give Bray Wyatt more of a push.
Mm-hmm. He's one of the new up-and-coming guys that has the charisma and the mic skills to back it up with the mat skills that he can carry something like that. Maybe... I mean, we're not going to get into our Elimination Chamber predictions right now, but say Bray Wyatt wins it, and it's Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton, that's something new. And, John Cena goes on to face somebody else.
Yeah.
And give him someone new, they've been talking about Undertaker. We'll get into that later, but just that aspect of it where, we don't want to see the same thing over and over and over. That may just be, us ranting, but I think that would be best for business.
Well, I like how you bring up that point, saying it might be a little ranting, but are we expecting too much as fans? Should we take what WWE is giving us, or should they give us what we want?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's nothing we can really do about it. But as being such long fans, you see things. You can predict a couple things like, oh, this person's definitely going to win. You can predict the finish, this and that. And I mean, it's more of bouncing ideas off of, eventually maybe it becomes a big enough voice. It becomes a big enough push like this. Like what happened with Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, exactly.
He put himself over.
Well, with no help from anybody else. No help from the back.
Same with New Day. They put themselves over.
Yeah.
And they're over as it gets for tag team right now.
I guarantee you future Hall of Famers.
Just because of what they had
Just
done for the last 2 years, what they've been doing with that stable.
What they've done. That 2 years put them in the Hall of Fame. The way they did it, the way they put themselves over, crowd manipulation. There you go.
That's true.
Well, you got a monthly subscriber to Bootios right here.
There you are.
Exactly.
It's amazing.
Oh, it definitely is, especially with New Day. You have great individual wrestlers there, but together they just put on. It's such an enigma that's just
unique
awesome
experience.
To see.
It's unique.
It's very unique. You haven't seen it before. You haven't seen them doing these crazy, goofy things from these guys that are coming out and putting on the show, but still, they're all amazing wrestlers.
Big E diving through the ropes.
Exactly.
I clench my butthole every time because
I know, a little bit of a pucker.
Someone right through. I'm like, oh, he's gonna fall on his neck. He's over. That's it.
One of his toes is gonna flip, and he's just gonna go head first.
Oh, that scares me.
Well, and even time. he's never going to be a world heavyweight champion, but
No.
Xavier Woods is one of the best on the mic. He's great in the ring.
Great in the ring. He's underrated in the ring.
No, exactly. And he's built himself outside of the ring so people knows what he is. Like, up, down, down.
Amazing. Yeah.
You know?
He's fan interaction. He goes to every Twitch event, PAX East, PAX South, TwitchCon. He's there. He's meeting people. He doesn't play the, I'm going to set up a booth and it's $25 to come to take a picture with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he puts the face of WWE out there. He's a good advocate for WWE.
Yeah.
And wrestling.
And he's definitely someone the fans connect with.
Yeah.
They enjoy.
100%. I mean, when I see Xavier Woods, I don't see this, just this, really fit, buff guy that's out of my league. I think of him as a dude I would sit down and play video games with him.
No, exactly.
I'd talk comic books or whatever with him. It's relatable. And it's getting the push to the wrong people this time. Roman Reigns. Either, I don't mind pushing him. Push him as a heel.
Right.
Don't push him as a baby.
Better get off the pot with him. Stop trying to drag it out. Like number 30 at Royal Rumble, that was...
It was the biggest heart drop, and I called it too, and I didn't even mean to.
I did it as a joke, but... the Roman Reigns number 30, and then that music hits, and I was about to walk out.
We about turned it off. Okay, but back on the agenda, we've got 2 more questions to answer, and then we'll get through our Royal Rumble predictions.
Royal Rumble predictions?
I'm sorry, Elimination Chamber predictions.
Orton wins it. The Royal Rumble.
You want to put money
Roman Reigns number 30, but Orton wins.
Okay.
Cena, 16th championship.
So, could ECW played a bigger role to make it a 3-way race? Or was it always just the 2 main dogs in the fight? Do you think... Because there was always, WWE's interaction with the ECW, with Jerry Lawler going over with the extremely crappy wrestling. It was kind of like always in Vince's back pocket, but do you think if ECW got big enough that they would have made an impact and maybe...
Yes, because of Paul Heyman. Genius.
Absolutely.
If you give me Eric Bischoff versus Paul Heyman, I'll take Paul Heyman 100 out of 100 times.
Absolutely. Paul Heyman's one of the greatest minds in wrestling. Always has been.
But incredible.
I think what made ECW so unique was it was that lower... It wasn't this big production that WWE and WCW was. It was this smaller thing that... we got Sam weighing in on this now. But it was this smaller promotion that you were getting, what you wouldn't see, the violence, a lot of the things you were getting out of ECW was so unique that you didn't see
something you never see before.
And you didn't see it on TV. Exactly. So I think if they made like a big production out of it, it would lose a lot of what made it what it was. It's like look at Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. It's a California indie promotion. Dave Meltzer said it was the best wrestling promotion of 2016. They just rent out this small auditorium. Tickets sell out in under 5 minutes. They don't think about going to a bigger venue ever. They've turned celebrities away that want to buy tickets because they say, no, it's already sold out. Sorry. It's this unique little thing, but it has some of the best wrestling at it. And they could make it into this bigger promotion. They could make it a WCW, a WWE, but it would lose a lot of what made it what it is. And I feel like that's how ECW is. Like, it was such a unique promotion, and you had such great talent, and like Paul Heyman running it, it would have lost a lot of what it was had you blown it up.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to same thing Xavier Woods does. He's relatable. ECW was relatable to like the common person. It's not all these beefed up dudes that you see. The Dudley brothers were there, and Sandman, Beard.
Tommy Dreamer.
Tommy Dreamer is the epitome of average
like the
Joe
guy who never wanted to have the ECW title until Paul Heyman, or ECW title, and Paul Heyman said, "I'm putting it on you. You have to have it." And then he lost it that same night, less than 5 minutes. He didn't even get like a picture with the belt. Like, that's the kind of guy he was. He was such a hard worker, and he was. Like, if you look back at ECW, he's one of the top names that were there the whole time.
Well, yeah, when you think ECW, he's one of the first names that ever comes up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But, like, he wasn't this, didn't have a super long title reign or, an undefeated streak that you saw like Goldberg.
Yeah.
But he was so relatable because he was just this average guy who busted his ass day in and day out.
And the capability that ECW would have had. compared with Eric Bischoff's mind and Paul Heyman's mind. Paul Heyman, eventually, if ECW was to get over, okay, he would have expanded. He would have broadened. Even in the ECW days, it wasn't just all, just headshots with kendo sticks and chair shots and bleeding. It was, they had actual good wrestlers there.
Absolutely. And I think being in Philadelphia, Philadelphia is a hard place for people to wrestle because fans know exactly what they want there.
Right.
And they were able to get great reactions out of that. And to have it there, week in, week out, really showed how great ECW was. Both
the
wrestling
fan base
and...
it was diehards.
Oh, yeah.
It was diehards that just... No matter what you give them WWE, they'd say, screw you. ECW till I die. And the way, even to this day, you still see it with Paul Heyman. The way he promotes Brock Lesnar, the use of his words, how he gets the crowd involved. He got ECW, he got the fans just so involved. And everyone was 100% in it. No one was there and going, meh. Everyone was cheering, going out of their minds. They knew everyone. They knew the moves. They, even if it was a repeat match, they wanted to see it again because it was easy.
They were invested with the characters too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it would have just been, they were good where they were at, but...
Well, they ran into the little problems. They ran out of money.
Exactly.
They ran out of...
Well, they had that deal with TNN to put them on TV. TNN's promising them all this money, promising all this stuff, and they never delivered on it. They wanted ECW to be a bigger promotion. So, Paul Heyman's pouring in all this money, and TNN's like, yeah, and he did that famous shoot interview where he goes off on TNN, like, well, you're going to kick me off the air, or like, if you don't want to take me off the air, you're going to kick me off the air, and just goes off on him. And then, TNN turns around, here's, $40 million for WWE?
Yeah, shame.
Yeah,
Damn.
so, they had a lot of the little problems, like running out of money and that, but...
I'm glad they brought Paul Heyman back. He didn't want to come back. Brock
it was
Lesnar wanted him back.
Brock Lesnar
Oh, yeah.
wanted him to come back.
And I'm glad he did, because he is, and I've said, the best wrestling mind there is.
Yeah, I'll put him up
Well,
there.
hey, man, if you're hearing this, we'd love to have you on here sometime.
We're always looking for a guest for the Four Horsemen podcast. If you want to, give us a follow on the channel. Leave something in the chat. Maybe we'll bring you in. We'll Skype you in to be our guest. This is only the first installment. But what we want to do to end it, but after we're going to do the predictions for the Elimination Chamber, is move of the week. Dylan, if you want to take over.
First, a word from all our sponsors. All right, now the move of the week. All right. Based off this week, if there was one person you could super kick, who would it be? We'll start with Zane. If you could super kick one person this week, who would it be?
The Miz.
The Miz. Wow.
Because he's such a great heel, but he's a safe wrestler and he's a heel and everybody hates him, but he's so good at what he does. He plays the character so well that I just want to kick him in the face.
All right. Well,
Maybe, I like that.
Chris?
Are we talking in wrestling?
No, I didn't even think about a wrestler, but...
Oh, are we just talking people in general?
Yeah, we were talking people in general. I said anyone.
Oh! Well, I thought because it was a wrestling podcast, I was staying with the theme.
Well,
I'd have to have time to think again, but we'll catch
We'll come back
next
to
week.
you.
We'll come
or
next.
next week.
I'll go wrestler, because everyone knows mine, who had super kick.
This is true. So wrestler.
Wrestler.
Is he big?
Roman Reigns.
I was gonna go through the characteristics. Long hair.
Any day of the week, give me a chance, I'll super kick Roman Reigns. Face,
You get away with it,
champion,
too.
no champion. Bring him here, super kick him right in the face.
Well, mine was going to be this person I had to sit next to at work this week who I timed it, couldn't go 15 seconds without talking. It was 14 seconds. Didn't say something stupid, but literally every word was stupid. But, wrestler, Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Very simple on
I feel like that's
one.
going to be a very reoccurring theme. Okay.
Well, with the way they push him every week, absolutely.
Now we will go with our Elimination Chamber predictions, which is tonight on the WWE Network. Another plug. Better be seeing some royalties from it soon.
$9.99 a month. You get to see every pay-per-view ever. And
All right, so
a month.
the first match, kickoff match, Mojo Rawley versus Kurt Hawkins.
Mojo. He's going over.
Chris, Mojo.
as
Dylan?
much as I hate to say it, Mojo Rawlings, because I cannot stand him, but he's going to go over. They're going to try to push him.
I'm going to go Mojo as well.
Just the
You
way,
got to stay hype.
just the way that they advertise him in the Rumble.
Yeah.
They're going to put him over.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, he wouldn't have won that Battle Royal if he wasn't
Yeah, there's
built something, unless they're going to Zack Ryder him. Rest in peace.
See, that's hard to say, though.
So
'cause I
after, when we
enjoyed
do
Zack Ryder.
our next edition of this, we're going to keep score of the pay-per-views.
Okay.
So we're not going to have predictions every week for pay-per-views, but we're going to keep score. And so I'm going to tally this down. And so the first match on the card, it says Apollo Crews and Kalisto versus Dolph Ziggler in a 2-on-1 handicap
Ziggler.
match.
Ziggler's going to go over.
Why you say that?
Just because he's going to shock it. He's turning heel and he's going to do something.
But he's already heel.
Yeah, I know. He's just become. They've brought him up more. Like
Yeah.
he's got more camera time, I should say. And
He's getting more of a push
yeah,
as a heel,
and,
but
yeah, and they're gonna. I think they're just gonna do something. He's gonna do something undermining, or Apollo Crews is gonna come hit Kalisto, and he's gonna throw Crews out and pin Kalisto.
I think he's going to super kick them both. So we're all Ziggler there. God, we're going to have some...
I think we're all Ziggler there. But I mean, we got a lot of matches here.
Well, I mean,
I'm sure there are some different...
the Elimination Chamber one. We're gonna have some different stuff, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, Becky Lynch, Mickie James. You know, they've had the rivalry going on. It was figured out that she was La Luchadora.
La Luchadora.
So, I'll start this one off. I'm going to go the Irish Lass Kicker, Becky
Yeah?
Lynch.
I'm going to say the same as well.
I'm gonna go Mickey.
All right, finally some deviation
I know.
to the plan.
Yeah,
Okay.
In all honesty, I don't watch much of the women's division.
Sexist.
You got to be PC. It's 2017, bro.
But I don't know. I think something's gonna go down, and Mickey's gonna pull it out.
Okay.
I think so.
Do you
So-
think it'll be a clean win though?
Or do you think Alexa Bliss is going to do something, even though she has a match with Naomi? Oh,
For the SmackDown Women's Championship.
is that happening this pay-per-view?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Oh yes,
Bliss.
yeah.
Alexa
Okay,
Bliss
okay,
and
all right,
Naomi.
yeah. We'll get to that later. All right, and the next one is the Tag Team Turmoil match with the champions American Alpha, the Usos, the Brosos now,
The Brosos.
the I Got Kids, Slater and Rhino, the Ascension, Breezango, and the VOD Villains. Dylan, let's start with you.
I'm going to say American Alpha retains.
Okay.
I think it will be a pretty decent match.
Do you think
I
it's going to be quick?
It won't be long. It'll probably stretch 10, 15 minutes.
Okay.
I think
Who's gonna steal the match though? Who's gonna put on the moment? Because there's at least one moment that'll put something over.
I mean, not a big
Slater
fan of the
would do it.
Usos, but I think the
they'll-
Usos will probably have the biggest.
what they'll do their double like splash off the top.
That's probably all it's going to be, but I mean, I'd love to see Rhino and Slater take it, but I don't know.
well,
So is
out of
the
all those
big
people,
Young
out of
Bucks.
all those tag teams, Rhino gets the biggest pop.
That is true.
Like when he still lines up for the gourd, the crowd goes nuts.
Oh yeah, well,
I think Ascension might win.
that-
Maybe
Who's your pick?
for.
tag-
I'm gonna go with
who wins the
I'll-
titles?
Ascension.
Going with
It
Ascension.
makes sense with what has American Alpha been doing.
They've been beating everybody. That's what it's been.
It's not, but it's not been like a big thing. Like tag team division right now. I mean, it's okay.
It's
But
decent, better than previous
what have
years.
they been doing? Who have they pushed the most so far recently? Ascension.
That is true.
They did win the.
They made them look really strong. I mean, but I think Ascension might do it.
Well, I'm going to go different from you guys because I'm going to go someone that's recently worked their way back into the picture. The VOD Villains.
Yeah?
That is. I'm going to say the VOD Villains because they're kind of that sneaky, under the table.
They're the wild card.
They are the
They're
wild
the
card.
wild card for
'Cause
sure.
I can see it.
Because they do stuff like that, like Zack Ryder in that ladder match to win the Intercontinental Championship last year, or 2 years ago, or whatever it was. But it was like so out of nowhere. But their reign won't be long, but I think just to get the strap on them at least once.
Yeah. Okay.
Total wild card. Fandango and Tyler Breeze just win it 5 minutes flat.
But I think we can all agree Usos, Breezango, and Heath Slater and Rhino are probably not going to win.
Probably not. I don't think they'll give the Usos that push again for a while.
I mean, with their heel change.
I don't know.
Or Brosos, is it now?
Terrible.
Well, Uso means brother, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, and then
Nikki Bella versus Natalia.
I'm going to go with Natty Neidhart.
I hope. I want her to win. I'm going to go with Natty, too. I love Natty.
I'm going to switch it up for you guys and go Nikki Bella on this one.
Just because you think she's hot.
Just
Well,
that
or maybe
as well.
just because it's John Cena's squeeze.
I don't know.
You believe in that, or you think they work hard?
I think they work hard.
Oh, she works hard, but also, I mean, they might. I'm just saying that, but I think they'll push the face. Just like the buildup of how it is.
Yeah.
Like the heat that's going on, it should be like, oh, the face is gonna go over. She's overcome so much after all Natalia's been saying and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
All right.
Harper and Orton. I'm looking forward to that match.
I think it'll be a good match. I think Luke Harper's a little bit underrated.
I'm going to pick Luke Harper.
They're
They're going to give all of this push towards the Rumble.
towards Mania.
I think so. Here's my thing.
Okay.
I think Luke Harper's going to win because Bray Wyatt's going to try to help Randy, and he's going to end up hurting him, and which will lead into my Elimination Chamber prediction that will cause a new rivalry that I think will happen. So I'm going to go Luke Harper.
You're on the same page as me.
I was thinking
You're on the
that,
same
but
page as me. Yeah, I think Bray Wyatt's gonna mess this up for Orton. Luke Harper's gonna come on top.
do you think Luke Harper goes back to the Wyatt family?
No, I think it's just for this match, which is going to build the feud between
Orton
and Bray Wyatt.
You
already said Orton.
I know I said Orton, but
Now that we're saying it, now that we've
well,
got
no,
a little...
because I thought about that.
I'm just
before,
excited
but-
to get into the Elimination Chamber match because we got some. There's so many different things that could come up.
Exactly.
Alexa Bliss versus Naomi.
Alexa Bliss.
Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that as well.
Shorter match.
Yeah, I think, if anything, the Bella Natty match will be longer than the Alexa Bliss Naomi match. Because, I mean, Naomi's athletic, but she's never going to get the push.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And that leads us up to the Elimination Chamber match.
Baron Corbin, Dean Ambrose, John Cena, AJ Styles, Bray Wyatt, and The Miz. Chris, let's start with you.
Bray Wyatt. I think Cena's dropping the title here. He's going to drop the title, and he's going to try and beat Flair's record at Mania. Bray Wyatt's going to win it after he messed up Randy Orton's thing. They're going to break up the Wyatt family. Orton's going to face Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania, and they're going to have a huge build-up for it, and it's going to be a fantastic match.
I am also going to go Bray Wyatt, but I think we're going to see a new feud here between Dean Ambrose and John Cena start.
For the IC title, you think?
Maybe not.
When you think about it, that's the only championship he hasn't won to make him a Triple Crown winner. He's won the tag titles. He's won the U.S. title. He's won each of the World Heavyweight titles. He's never won the Intercontinental Championship.
I think it could lead into a...
He'll win that in between now and Mania, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And then he'll go into Mania and maybe win both titles have both titles at the same
Oh, I hope not. Not an Ultimate Warrior scenario.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, but I hope not.
Speaking of rest in peace, Chavo Guerrero Sr., Chavo
I
Classic.
know, Chavo
Yeah.
Classic. Last night, right?
Yeah, last night or 2 nights ago.
2 nights ago, I think it was.
That's crazy.
Pretty sad. I heard Chavo Classic was a dick, though.
Really?
I heard he was an absolute prick. Some interviews I've seen, he was just a really, preachy, Jesus guy and really aggressive human being. And it sucks. Guerrero family, Eddie's my boy, but it's sad. Yeah, we got Hector and Mondo left, huh?
I actually heard that Chavo was coming back to help push the cruiserweight division
I would love that.
as a veteran. There's not there's
There's
a
a
veteran right
veteran.
now is Neville.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
He's not
thinking about
really-
doing that with Ray when his contract's up with Lucha, which I think makes complete sense.
And then
Yeah,
put him in the
absolutely.
Hall of Fame.
Yeah, of course.
He deserves the Hall of Fame push. I know there's been the whole
He's
thing
the best
with the
cruiserweight wrestler of all
performance-enhancing
time.
drugs, but
Ray is definitely going to be in there. Chavo's going to be in there, definitely. Dean Malenko is definitely going to be in there.
Oh yeah, he's still around the company.
He's still working with them.
I'd love to see Dean come back for a little like cruiserweight push from the back.
Oh, bro, he's so old.
He's
now.
too old.
He
now.
was old in WCW. He was like, I think he was like 35 in WCW.
But he was so incredible. He was so incredible.
He was.
The Texas Cloverleaf.
What's your prediction?
Baron Corbin.
No.
I think
His
it's
time
odd.
is coming, but it's not now.
I think it's odd that he's in this match already.
Why? He's one of the bigger stars on SmackDown.
I know, but
Vince
it just seems
McMahon
like
likes big sweaty man.
it's true. I don't have anything against him. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to say anything bad about him, but
Yours is Bray Wyatt as well?
Bray Wyatt as well.
Well, the three top ones are Cena retains, AJ Styles, or Bray Wyatt.
I agree
That's
with that,
what I was
but
going to go
think-
with. The champ that runs the camp, the man, the phenomenal one, AJ Styles. I think it's going to come down to him and Cena. Again, because they got to. I mean, as much as I want them to, they might not do it, but he's only been there so long. I think that AJ Styles deserves to main event WrestleMania because he's the most talented wrestler out of both rosters.
I agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to go AJ Styles.
So no one's saying Cena retains.
I wouldn't. It's just
It could happen.
it could happen.
It could
These three
happen.
just all have the same possibilities.
Yeah. I don't think Dean Ambrose will be at it.
No.
I
Not
wouldn't
with
mind
him.
if he did, but
Not with him wearing the IC belt right now.
No. But it's gonna be a good one.
He'll be good.
It's good.
Good pay-per-view.
I wouldn't mind any three of those.
Yeah.
I prefer Bray Wyatt, but I wouldn't mind Cena retaining, and I wouldn't mind AJ Styles winning.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind those.
You think there's going to be something out of nowhere? You think The Miz will ever get a push again as the champ?
I wouldn't mind that
I
either.
don't,
That'd
I
be
don't think
funny
it will
as hell.
happen, though. I don't think it will. At least not tonight.
No, because they're investing in Mania, and they're gonna do it.
They got to build up for
right.
Mania.
Okay, and so with you guys doing the same prediction for the main event for a tiebreaker, just in case, who is the first one eliminated? This is just for the tiebreaker for you guys. Because I
Miz.
did somebody different.
I'm going to say Miz.
Baron Corbin.
Okay, put it down on paper. And that is going to wrap it up for us today. Does anybody have any last words before we're,
I got one question. How do you guys feel about going back to 2 pay-per-views a month? Do you feel like it's too much? Do you feel like it's just right?
With the brand split, it makes sense.
right?
Yeah.
But I think they need to load it more. They need to bring up more talent and have better matches or longer matches.
That's how I feel like. I feel like
I
it
don't mind it
gets
as
a
long as
little
they do it
watered.
right.
Yeah,
You
it
know
gets a
what I
little
mean?
watered down with how it is now.
Okay.
Yeah, they need more talent. And I got a last question. You guys' favorite match of all time?
Jeez, I thought we were going to try to separate this into
No,
a
this
we're going
series
with
of
this to
podcasts.
start.
Because I'm gonna.
We got
do-
that stuff to talk
No,
about.
Hey,
I'm
I
gonna
will
switch it up every week. You'll
I will
see.
start this first. I'm going to say CM Punk versus John Cena, Money in the Bank.
2011.
Exactly.
How did I know that was coming?
Because, I mean, the pop that match got,
The build-up.
CM
That's
Punk going out of the crowd with the title, blowing Vince a kiss. It was
good.
perfect.
But the match itself.
The match
It was
itself
great. It was
was
great.
great.
No, it was.
There was a couple botches, but, what great match doesn't have a couple botches?
Armageddon 2008 main event.
I knew this one, too.
Edge, Triple H, and Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
Jeff Hardy going over. It was also the same night I got my first kiss.
And dumped. I remember
No,
that.
no.
No, I remember that.
It was after.
You
it was
texted
after. No,
me.
it was after that.
You
No, it was
texted
after.
me.
I promise.
Or no, you called me. Jeff Hardy won the title. I'm like, I know, I saw it. You're like, oh, and Danny broke up with me, but Jeff Hardy won the
No, this is
title.
2008, bro. We were in
Oh,
ninth
this
grade.
is okay. That was
That was the
before.
next year.
That was the
when
next
I got
year.
my first kiss. That's what
Okay,
it was.
that's-
So those two tying together. Jeff Hardy, Armageddon 2008. Chris,
I got two.
I think I know his.
I think I know both of these as well.
First one is. Oh, you guys know that. Lesnar, Kurt Angle, WrestleMania.
Ooh.
Okay.
Amazing match.
No, it was.
Incredible match.
Absolutely.
Then, of course, No Way Out, Brock Lesnar, Eddie Guerrero, 2004, February 15th. I don't remember that now. Amazing.
It was an amazing match.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for us today. If you liked it and you want to see it again, follow the stream. Leave us a comment. We'll read it.
We will have a YouTube channel set up here soon.
We are recording this right now, and so they will be on our YouTube channel for you to rewatch if you like. If you have any comments, questions, or anything like that, put it in the chat. If you liked it, once again, follow the stream. I've been your host, along with the boys.
And missing one of our 4 horsemen, who will be here next week.
Definitely.
We'll catch up with him about all our wrestling adventures.
We'll fill him in what he did miss this week, next week.
Well, we should probably get his Elimination Chamber predictions too.
We'll have him written down. We'll
All
call
right.
him and let him know.
All right.
Do we have an outro or?
Got to throw up the 4.
Throw up the 4.
That's it.
That's
All
it.
right.
We'll see you next week.
Woo!
Woo!
Stream's done.